listening to the USF Coaches Show live from Rookie Sports Bar and Grill on 1230 KWSN. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget on Wednesday, that's tomorrow night, there is a USF golf fundraiser over at Chevy's. You go over there and they will get 15% of what you spend. So go out and support the USF golf team. And now I'm just so thoroughly excited and honored for this next guest. Over the course of 22 years, the face of first Sioux Falls College, then the University of Sioux Falls, has been one man. Were it not for him, we wouldn't be here today. With a program winning percentage of 276 prior to his arrival, he spent the next 2 decades and then some amassing more wins than any other coach in football, in USF football history. A record, by the way, that will most likely stand alone in the record books and serve as a benchmark for anyone at the helm of Cougar football. 172 wins, 13 conference championships, 8 conference coach of the year titles, 10 NAIA playoff appearances, 1 national coach of the year, 1 national championship, and hundreds, if not thousands, of boys shaped into men later. He still remains a steady hand on the tail at USF. In so many countless ways, the lines of progression that has led the University of Sioux Falls as we know it today can be traced directly back to him. In 1983, the University of Sioux Falls struck gold when they hired a football coach and got more in return than they possibly could have known. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome a member of the USF, NAIA, and South Dakota Halls of Fame, and the only man in this building with a stadium that bears his very name, Coach Bob Young. Coach, welcome.
Thank you. That is more deserving. It's not. I don't deserve that. Let me put it that way.
Well, I'm going to vehemently disagree with you on that point. I told you before the show when you came on, crawling through your biography is quite the feat. And preparation for this show, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I had a ton of fun doing it. And I'm just so excited and honored to have you on. And you've had such an impact on USF. As we know it today, I just can't imagine that we would be in any position we're at today were it not for you coming to USF and spending 22 years here. But you got your start in Beersford, South Dakota.
We played schools like Parker. I was a farm boy, raised on a farm. I guess part of the things about living on a farm, you develop a work ethic. You gotta do the thing that you sometimes don't care about doing. But it was a great experience, and I kind of grew up in that area. Really coming to Sioux Falls College in those days was not something that other people looked at as a big accomplishment or anything. At least we got recruited, and there was a great number of us. There was a good group of us that came at the same time. Sioux Falls College. It was kind of one of the first times that they did any recruiting, and I don't know, maybe we got $100. I can't remember, but we did. We stayed together during that 4-year period of time, and it was a neat experience. And certainly some of my dearest friends are still people that you go to school with.
And some of your most ornery friends.
That's true. Some of them that are here today.
Well, you played 3 sports in high school, and then you came to USF in '57, right?
That's right.
And you played football, you played basketball for 2 years, but you primarily played football. And Coach, I don't mean to slight you here, but you're not the biggest fella I've ever seen. And you anchored the offensive line and played linebacker for 4 years and got yourself a couple all-conference honors. And what was it like to play for USF, or Sioux Falls College, as it were, in those days?
Well, obviously size was not a big factor. As you mentioned, strapping 165-pound offensive guards, not the most impressive guy you've ever run across.
First man off the bus.
That's right. But there was only, I think there was only 18 of us anyway, so you had to play. No, I was kidding. We had more than that. But but we did. We had some good experiences. We ended up kind of establishing some winning tradition in the later years there, and after there was a number of us that just weren't satisfied with the losing tradition, so to speak, that had been established, and one coach that stood on his head down in Sioux Falls because they lost so many straight games was not going to happen while we were there.
Well, it certainly must have been a bit of a leap of faith
too many schools and recruit 165 on offensive guard.
Well, you came to USF, served your 4 years, and got some experience, and then you headed down to Arizona to do your master's degree at Arizona State, and you started coaching high school football there at Maryvale, Arizona, and you amassed a record there of 72, 35, and 5, and won a couple Phoenix Coach of the Year trophies. And talk about your experience down there a little bit and how you first got your feet wet in coaching.
I don't know. It was a good experience, for us to go down away from our families up here for that period of time, and kind of move into a program. I was very fortunate to be able to take over the program in Maryville, which was one of the new schools at that time. It had only been open about 4 years, I guess. And I became the head coach in 1970, and had a very good successful season my first year, which was kind of unexpected, I guess, and from that point on, I kind of set a level of competition, but we never won the state championship. It was always, we played for them, we never got one. I wish we had, I guess winning the national championship later kind of, made it a little more, whatever the word is, satisfying.
Well, you obviously had an incredible career at USF. We've been over a lot of your accolades, but your foundation of coaching, you got really playing at USF and then coaching down at Maryville. And I mean, right away, you're a successful football coach. When was it that you knew that that's what you wanted to do with high school life?
Well, I think when I was down in Arizona, I thought I was working toward my master's degree was in mathematics, and I always kind of wondered if I wanted to go into engineering. There was some aerospace stuff down there. I went to interviews and a couple of jobs after I'd been coaching in Maryville. I don't know, it just seemed like every time I started looking into other opportunities, then another opportunity in athletics would come up, and then I got to be the head coach, and after that, then some good friends up here decided that maybe I could kind of coach at University of Sioux Falls, and Reed Byer, John Rice kind of pestered me a little bit about doing that, and ended up coming back to the South Dakota area. A lot of people wonder why you never leave the warm climate of Arizona to come back to South Dakota.
Well, NASA's loss, you certainly are gaining. Were you the only one interviewed for your coaching job?
No, I understand it was a pretty good group. Yeah, came in ahead of me, and they were getting desperate, I guess.
Well, you came in and you took over a program that just had not been successful by many measures over the course of it since its inception. And like I said, it was a 276 winning percentage, and then you come in and win 172 games. So what led you to want to take that job at USF when you've been so successful down in Arizona? Probably could have had some other opportunities. What made you want to come home?
Well, in a way, the program had started winning before I came. There had been a turnaround in the early 80s. Besides our son came back up and went to school here. He was a kicker in the early 80s. Got us kind of interested in coming back. We came back to watch a few games. And I guess, I think I was ready to get out of high school, teaching, coaching, and so forth. I could see the generation gap getting bigger and bigger. And I've gotten into selling insurance for a couple of years out of high school. And I just knew that probably wasn't where I wanted to be the rest of my life. So the opportunity to come back to alma mater and coach was pretty attractive, especially when my parents were from Beersford, my wife's parents were from Beersford. Getting back to this area, getting back to some friends and everything too, was pretty attractive. But I don't know if after we were here or back, I don't know if we made a mistake or not, but there were some tough times when we first came back. We had some success early, and then we got went through a dry spell there. About 86 and 87, but then we got it going.
Well, your first year, I was just going to say, your first year you were 8-2, then won the SDIC. In your first year back as coach, I'm sure at that point you were like, this is easy.
Well, that was my second year. But that first year, that was my second year that we did that. That was 1984 that happened. We did have, we brought in some good athletes, and some of them came in from even Arizona, where I coached them down there, and they made a big impact. There were some good players that stayed around from the previous coach, and they were from different parts of the country. And it was at that point in '85, we had a pretty solid season even in that year. Then we kind of lost coaching staff and some changes in '86 and '87 that kind of set us back a little bit. Then we did '88 was a pretty special year when we went undefeated.
Well, speaking of coaching staffs, you told me something before we came back on the air here. When you first started, and until Dr. Benedetto came, you were also teaching math, but you didn't have a full-time assistant on your staff. You were the only full-time member of the football coaching staff.
I didn't, it was something I guess I put up with it, I accepted it, and I tried to find the best coaches I could, even though they were part-time people working other jobs, and very fortunate to have some really key people. But when Dr. Benedetto came in, he's got to be given a lot of credit to be able to, I'm given a lot of credit for the coaching end of it, but he's got to be given a lot of credit from his standpoint of seeing, in order to keep our program at a high level, you can't expect a football coach to recruit and teach 6 hours of math in the fall and teach 11 hours of math in the spring. You can't do it all. And then not have anybody on campus at the same time with you. So he took me away from the teaching load and also started giving me some assistant coaches, and that was the program really took off and had good consistency from that point on.
So what was the first year that you got a full-time assistant coach, and who was it? Do you remember?
Well, I think my first time full-time assistant was Chuck Morrell.
Oh, really?
I remember that. The other ones were working other jobs.
So that would have been already 98, right?
Well, that would have been, I'm trying to think, he played for me in 97, and then 98. Now, that's true. 98, he came on board after he was done playing for me.
Well, I mean, you had, I don't even know. I can't even quite figure out how to find how many kids have come through your program over the years. And before we go to commercial, I just had one little story about you. And the only interaction I ever had when I came to the play at USF, I came to a recruiting meeting up at USF before we played Morningside out at Howard Road Field. And I got in there a little late because I was having breakfast with my family. And I stepped in and I sat kind of at the back of the room, so I didn't want to make a big disturbance. And you were just kind of wrapping up your little talk you were giving to all of us. And as you came walking to the back of the room, you stopped by and you said, "Hey, you're the Westerman boy from Chuckwater, Wyoming, right?" And I had never spoken with you, we'd never met. I played football in Wheaton, although I went to school in Chuckwater, and I had no idea how you knew who I was. But I knew who you were, and I was just so impressed, and you've never disappointed from that.